Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another night of primary elections. I think the 7th week in a row that we are live right now. We got tons of races. We got Nevada, we got South Carolina, we got North Dakota, we got Maine. Did I say South Dakota? I meant South Carolina. We got Maine and Texas. Special election. So let's get started. Let's go right to the big race right now. That is the state of Texas 34th special election. Here it comes right now. This is the 34th district special election. It's to replace Suleiman Vela. 36% of the vote is in. Myra Flores is leading Dan Sanchez by 0.5% or just under 100, just under 80 votes. This is the Vilima Vila district. This is one of the blue seats, one of the Rio Grande districts that were very close last year. This is under the old district lines. Right now, Sanchez is and Flores is leading Sanchez by 0.5% or just under 70, just over, or just, I think, 74 votes. And here we go again. It's now 71 votes. Kennedy County is Democrat. It went Republican in 2020. You know, a lot of people live there too. So right now we got this district got redder in 2020. So let's go over. So right here, this is Kennedy County. This went Republican 2 years ago. Sanchez leads, and it's 60% in. Just north of that, that's Kleberg County, Republican stronghold. We got Republican strongholds up here, but we got Democratic strongholds down here. We got Wilson County. That is a Democratic stronghold. Sanchez is behind. We got Cameron County. That's a Democratic stronghold. Sanchez is very running ahead. Hidalgo County. That is a little bit of Hidalgo. Sanchez is ahead. Votes left. A lot of votes are left in the Brownsville suburbs. Not a lot of votes left up here in the Republican stronghold. So Democrats could actually hold the lead at the end of the night. We'll come back to this race. I think we are gonna go to, where do I want to go next? All right, I'm gonna go to the first district of South Carolina. That is the Mace district. That is Nancy Mace being challenged from the right by Katie Arrington, who lost to Joe Cunningham 4 years ago in the general election. Right now, Charleston, Nancy Mace is leading in those Charleston suburbs. She has a 10-point lead here. Arrington, however, is leading in Berkeley County, her base. Votes left, there's tons of votes left here. In Maine, we have the general election is going to be Janet Mills versus Paula Page. For governor, that is the Paula Page was governor from 2010 to 2018 when he was succeeded by Mills. In Maine, you can serve only two consecutive terms, but you can run after 4 years of being out of office. Nevada closes. The rest of Texas closed in about an hour, about 5 minutes, and then Nevada closes at 10 o'clock. We'll be live until I think 10:15 Eastern. So only 90 minutes for us tonight. I didn't see the point at streaming, but I did it anyway. So right now let's see what else we got. Oh, South Carolina governor. Let's head to there. Right click. We got South Carolina governor. We got Joe Cunningham, the former congressman, running there. Let's go over to there right now. The governor's race. Where is it? There we go. The governor's race right here. Henry McMaster will win renomination. He easily defeats Harrison Musselwhite. So it's a huge lead for McMaster. Down in the Democratic primary, we got Joe Cunningham in the purple. We have Mia McLeod in the blue beiges area. Cunningham is winning in. Let's see where the votes are left. Cunningham territory is mostly where the votes are left. This is a huge lead for Congressman Cunningham right here. He's up 18,000 votes right now over Mia McLeod. So right now we got remember runoffs in Texas if it doesn't get 50%. Oops, sorry. Of course, you mean we get. So we are looking for huge results. I'm gonna go over to let's see what else we have. Oh, Cunningham expanding his lead over McLeod. So so let's see here. Oh, we got Maine second district. We got we're going by township. Oh shoot! All right. Didn't realize that it was going by township, but all right. Well, I'll send you guys to Maine second right quick. So you're saying Caruso is not doing that hot here. Bruce Poliquin, the former congressman, is running to take back his old seat. He is currently leading right now. I'll go and scroll up for you guys. That's the current lead for Poliquin, 1232 to 904. Myra update on the Sanchez Myra Flores race. Sanchez lead is behind 46.2 to 47.2. A lot of vote coming in from Republican areas. Willisey County might be a problem for Sanchez, but not much. Hidalgo County and Cameron County are very much must wins here for must get votes here for Sanchez. All right, so right now, Poliquin leads 58.9 to 41.1. I'll be right back. Alright, polls have closed in, I believe, North Dakota. So let's go over to there. The Secretary of State's race is the biggest race today. I'll send it over to you guys. I'll send it to you guys right now. Here it is. All right, so Michael Howe, Marvin Lepp, Howe leads. Still, a ton of votes are outstanding. So we're still looking at North Dakota here. Well, I'm gonna go back. Let's see here. Oh, it's very close here in the it's pretty close now in the 34th district. We got Sanchez only down 40, down 53 votes. I don't know what this is, again, possibly runoff here. I'll show it to y'all. Oh, shoot. What a jump by Flores. Don't know what this came in. So right now we are looking here at the 34th district. Right here. So I think we're getting votes from Gonzalez. I don't know where the votes are coming from, but where are those votes coming from? B County, maybe? Or Cleveland? Yes. Oh, it could be Cameron County, but we don't know. I don't know. Gotta be a huge amount of votes for Sanchez, though. Jim Wells is still here. This could be. We will have a runoff in August, most likely here in the 34th district. I'll be right Alright, folks, I'm back. Sorry for the wait. We might be joined soon by Dante. I do not know yet. Alright, so right now we are still looking at the 34th. We got a huge lead here for Myra Flores. So, yeah, that's huge. Hold on, let me get. back. Flores leads by almost 3 points. So all right, so we've been on for an hour. Almost. All right, so let's go check up on the Maine race. Let's go check up on the Maine 2nd District. It's only 14% in here. And as you can see, Poliquin still holds a huge lead right now. It's about... Oh, we got more results. Poliquin continues to be effective today. So, let's see. Nevada closes in 30 minutes. South Carolina. I'm going to go check up on South Carolina. So, South Carolina. And at this point, we're going to add Dante in because he just is now joining us. So, let's see. South Carolina governors. That's where we're at. All right. So... And hello, Dante. Welcome back to the stream.
Hey, Andy. Good to see you. So, what are we looking at now?
We are looking at the South Carolina Democratic primary for governor.
Yeah, well, about 40% in. Definitely looks very good for Cunningham right now. Around 57%. So, yeah, he trailed in the early going, but ever since the vote has come in from Charleston, which is his old stomping grounds from his district, well, he's got 83% of the vote in Charleston, and ever since then, it's been kind of a blowout. So it's still a little too early to call it for sure, I would say, but he looks pretty favored here.
All right, so we are still. So like before you came on, we were looking at that Poliquin Caruso race. So can you explain what's going on there?
Well, if you want to flip over it for a second. go to
All
the
right,
main.
so Maine second. So right now we got Maine second is about to come up. Here it is.
Well, yeah. So this is the race to take on Jared Golden. Bruce Poliquin, he was in office for about 4 years back in 2015 after Mike Machad retired. Machad was a Democrat, so it was a flip for Republicans during the 2014 wave. Maine's second district has moved pretty fiercely to the right in recent years. It has gone for Trump twice, but Poliquin lost in the 2018 blue wave to Jared Golden, who held it again in 2020. So now he's running in a political comeback. He's running against Elizabeth Caruso, who is a local, kind of Republican leader, who is running explicitly to his right, but just based on what we see here, he's far ahead and looks to be pretty secure. I don't know, of course, exactly the geography for this, but I don't really see the path where he loses this race at this point when you consider all the factors. And ever since, and the race went back and forth early, but ever since then he's dominated Caruso by a pretty large margin. So, yeah.
All right, so as you can see on the map, he is very much doing very well, especially in that Bangor suburb areas. As you can see, that's mostly what's all it's in right now is Bangor, and some of these rural areas up in the northern areas. As but this is not a county map; they're going by communities, I believe. So that's
Yeah.
I think
This
this
is
is the first time I used that type of map here.
townships. Yeah, this is kind of how this is actually something you'll see on pretty much every New England map. New England has counties, but they don't have county governments, basically. So unlike every other state, or well, actually I shouldn't say every other state, but almost every other state, they do have counties, but their governments are in townships. So most New England maps, at least most good detailed New England maps, will show you it by township rather than a county. Although of course you see Maine is so sparsely populated, especially in this northern area. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't have any voting centers.
And in New Hampshire, we have midnight towns, is where that's why I streamed 9 minutes on the right after midnight on the November 2020 election was because those midnight towns are coming. Can you explain why they do that? It's a little bit off topic, but I just want the viewers to know why it's like that.
I think most of it is at this point tradition, but they're also very, very small. And similar to how for some small states like Iowa and New Hampshire, it means a lot to get the primary that as early as they do. As a way to bring some attention to the election in their town. Also, New Hampshire is a swing state that has traditionally been a bellwether, so that factors in.
But Biden carried it by 7 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I think Biden. Yeah, Biden won it, I believe.
Biden carried it by I think 7, and it is expected to be a battleground this year. But Sununu is not running for Democrats, for Senate, which is a huge break for Democrats. So, but again, back to tonight's primary, we got Nevada closing in about 30 minutes. We got South Carolina's first district. Let's go over to the first. That's another hotly contested district tonight, and you can explain it while I'm getting it up.
Well, this is definitely a very interesting race here between Nancy Mace and Katie Arrington. Essentially, Nancy Mace is the Republican incumbent. She won in 2020 after flipping the district. She beat Joe Cunningham. But in 2018, Joe Cunningham flipped this district during the blue wave by beating Katie Arrington. Now, Katie Arrington ran in the primary that year against another incumbent Republican who was also known for being a little more moderate, Mark Sanford. She upset Sanford, but in the general election, she lost, largely due to her positions being a bit more extreme than Sanford's had been. Now, the district has been changed in redistricting. At this point, if Arrington were to win the nomination, she would almost certainly be elected to the House. Republicans have changed the district so it's no longer at risk necessarily of flipping in a situation like that. But Arrington is now running a bit more emboldened. However, it is worth noting, I think that, and this is important, Mace is not as moderate as Sanford was. Sanford ran against Trump in the 2020 Republican primary. Well, he briefly ran, but still. While Mace has made some public comments that have been to criticize Trump, she did not vote to impeach him. She did not vote to form the January 6th commission, and she voted to oust Liz Cheney from House leadership for criticizing Trump. So while Mace has made some public comments that are critical of the former president, she has not been anywhere close to the level that Sanford was at. So Arrington's had a little less to run against here. However, Trump has endorsed Arrington, for the record.
All right, so we could have a Trump. Remember, 50% is needed. Mace is just above that. 50% is needed to avoid a runoff. Let's go to Tom Rice's district because that's right next door. So, and Rice is not having a good night.
Yeah, well, the simple factor here with Tom Rice is actually very simple. He voted to impeach Trump. His district is deep red, and now he is almost not only what I think he's almost certainly going to lose either way, but it looks to me here like he might actually just not even make it to a runoff, which is crazy because of how, look how many candidates there are. I mean, you have 4 candidates above 5%. You have 3 other candidates running, but there's just so much anti-incumbent vote.
So Russell Fry is the Trump endorsed candidate. So why do you think there's a lot of anti-incumbent? So why do you think Fry is doing so well against Tom Rice when many pro-impeachment? He's the first pro-impeachment to face a primary this year, I believe.
Well, for the record, I think some of them have retired, so that's part of the case. Also, Valadao.
Oh yeah, Valadao. I think he has won. I believe
he hasn't won.
I think
but
he
won. He hasn't won, but I would be pretty shocked at this point if he fell out of second. Of course, he might go on to lose the general. We don't know. So we'd have to take a longer look.
Yeah, but Tom Rice could be the first incumbent to really see the wrath of impeaching Trump. Rice voted to overturn the election, but he voted to impeach Trump. I think he voted for the commission. I think he also voted for Liz Cheney being ousted.
Yeah, Rice is kind of an interesting politician because he was not really a well-known Republican, or known for anything like some of the other Republicans who voted to impeach Trump. He was just, kind of your normal backbencher. I remember watching the impeachment vote, and when they announced that Tom Rice had voted to impeach, I actually thought it was a mistake. I thought it was an error, and he had to go change his vote, and then he didn't. And Rice has stood by his vote. He's stood by it as the right choice. But it is true that prior to it, he was part of the election is fraudulent crowd, and clearly something happened on January 6th that shifted his mind. But it's tough for him right now. He's got a very steep path to here, and I don't even know if he's going to be able to make it to a runoff at this point. It frankly looks very bad for him.
We also got, let's see, we have another primary that is looking pretty solid for the challenge. Timmons, Timmons is having a primary challenge, but it looks like he will survive. So tell us why that race was somewhat.
I mean, Timmons is a pretty conventional Republican. There's not that much to say there. I don't know why he's underperforming, but yeah. And Rice is
all right. So
Fry is now up to 49.3%.
All right. So we also have the Texas special election. So we don't have Nevada for an hour or 30 minutes or so. So let's go over to the Texas race.
Well,
So
I think as of right now, I think Flores is going to be able to get out of avoid a runoff here.
So why is this all of a sudden turning red?
Well, this is, obviously this district voted for Hillary Clinton by 22 points in 2016. In 2020, Joe Biden won it by only 4. So yeah, there was a pretty shocking shift across South Texas in favor of Republicans back in 2020, and we're seeing the ramifications of this now at a much higher level. And so, for the record, Democrats in the state were able to get the redistricting commission to make this district much safer for Democrats. In all likelihood, I don't see anything here that suggests to me that Flores is going to be. I have this district rated as likely D under its new lines. I don't see anything tonight that's going to make me change that. This is a really low turnout election. But it's clear to me that, Republicans are going to be able to compete across South Texas this year. These are things that you really.
Is it possible that is Flores running in the general election against Vincent Gonzalez?
Yes, Flores is going to run, and now she's up to 49.2%. And this is one of those things that's just kind of shocking to see happen out live. These are things that most political prognosticators and scientists didn't think would happen for decades. But this is, the Latino vote is Democrats no longer have a monolith on the Latino vote. And that is going to be a massive game changer across the country for, a lot of competitive races. And it could change, over the last few years, the discussion has been more, when will Texas vote blue rather than if? I think it's more if again now. And I just saw this, but Russell Fry has crossed 50% in South Carolina 7. And I think that might be all she wrote for Tom Rice.
All right, so Tom Rice is looking like he might be conceding soon, but right now we have
might be all over.
He's the first incumbent to lose renomination, the second one to lose renomination outright in the Republican primary. The other was North Carolina Representative. But he's the second one to lose outright in the primary challenge. The other one was Madison Cawthorn, North Carolina.
Redistricting that put districts with other incumbents. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
So Tom Rice and Madison Cawthorn so far. And only one Democrat technically lost. Technically, only one Democrat has lost outright, and that's Kurt Schrader in Oregon.
Oh yes, Kurt Schrader. So there's 3 incumbents who have gone down. I feel like we might be missing a 4th. I don't know. I have to think. I know a couple of the Mississippi ones went to runoffs. I'm going to look it up because I feel like we're missing a 4th here.
Yeah, but I could. Palazzo and Guest went to runoff. Palazzo and Guest went to runoff.
I'm not thinking of them because I feel like maybe it was a California. I'm going to check. Give me a minute. I know McClintock went to a runoff with another Republican, but let's see. No, we're not. No, you're right. We're not. This is going to be the 3rd. It's just been Schrader and Cawthorn who have lost to primary challenges, and then Bordeaux and McKinley have lost to redistricting races where they were placed with fellow incumbents. So technically, this is going to be the 5th.
Bordeaux lost to Lucy McBath, whose district is more favorable to McBath, and McKinley lost surprisingly in a somewhat favorable map to Mooney, or whatever his name is, Alexander Mooney, I believe that's his name, in West Virginia. I had him in my election night winning the West Virginia Senate, like I just had him that I forgot his name. Oh my gosh! All right. So
You know,
looking here, it is looking pretty grim.
you pointed out William Timmons
Mhm.
earlier, and you actually are right. I don't really know how to explain this, but this is not a particularly convincing win for him. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. This
South
Texas
Carolina
34,
Governor.
man. This is a Myra Flores is up to 49.5%. There's a chance that we're about to see a dramatic political shift here, kind of start tonight. This really has
And if
obviously.
she wins, if she wins, the net pickups will go from 5 to 4 for Republicans in
Yeah, no,
November.
this
Obviously,
is the
they
potential to
need
be
they
a
need to
truly monumental race.
they
And
needed
again, low turnout. This
they
district
needed
is likely going
five
to flip
at the
back.
beginning of the year
I
with
expect this district
Gonzalez. Yes,
will flip back, but that's because of the redistricting. There are other South Texas districts that did not get that shored up in redistricting. Democrats could be looking at a bit of a bloodbath in Texas if they're not careful here. And I do want to put some notes here, just because I don't want to sound like, oh, this is the biggest shift ever. Look, low turnout. You got to be careful with what you extrapolate in specials. Obviously, Democrats barely spent in this election. I think it's something like, maybe, I don't know the exact numbers, but Flores outspent Sanchez significantly. Obviously, Sanchez isn't even going to be running for anything in November. But still, this is the continuation of a trend we saw in 2020 start to form. And it's a trend that happens to have a lot of potential ramifications on American politics for the next few decades. So this is really something to pay attention
this
to.
also was
It's definitely a fascinating race.
seen in states like this also happened in states like Florida, Miami. We saw Debbie McCarcel Powell and Donna Salado lose in 2020 to Jimenez and Salazar due to this shift.
Yeah, I mean,
and I didn't even see it coming. I had them both as safe going into that final prediction.
Yeah, the Latino vote is just simply no longer something Democrats are going to be able to rely on. We've seen it in other states too. Nevada and Arizona are going to be states that are affected. And Democrats are going to have to start being a little more careful and being a little more considerate. And they're going to have to focus more on this large group of voters. But yeah, this is definitely a fascinating result. And it's something that, we'll see what happens in November, but I feel like if there's a romp in South Texas for Republicans in November, this is where we're going to kind of look back and say, hey, this was a big shift moment, for politics, and it's particularly in Texas. But this is a big shift. This was a big election. So yeah, that's very interesting, and obviously, yes, it's a flip for Republicans that makes it much easier for them to regain the House.
Yes, we have, because of redistricting, we could see solid former solid Democratic districts flip. Like in Ohio, we had the Marcy Carpenter's seat. That was extended a little bit more south, and it is now Republican plus 9. She could absolutely lose at poll closings. And we also have Malinowski in New Jersey. We have O'Halloran in Arizona. We also have those Florida districts that were gerrymandered. We could see Lawson lose. We're definitely going to see probably Lawson lose. We're going to see.
I was about to say, I think Lawson's in. I think number one, Lawson is in North Florida, and number 2, I think he's in a safe Republican district. That's a little different.
Yes, that Florida map is currently under court as well as the Louisiana district. The Florida courts originally overturned that district and gave it back to Lawson safety, but the Republicans appealed as such, putting the map back in place for right now. Same with, this is why I think the 24 Democrats could have a decent shot at retaking the House, because some of these maps that are in use right now could be thrown out as soon as next year. Like the ones this one, for example, in Texas, we could see that map flowing out for like we could see Louisiana, Alabama, we could see Florida thrown out, we could see, and it could also happen to Illinois. Like we saw it happen to Maryland and New York. Those gerrymanders were thrown out.
Well, Andy, I hate
And
to
we can
leave
also
before
see it happen in
I hate to leave before
Yeah, it's
Nevada
fine,
comes
dude.
in, but I gotta go. So thanks for having me on for a bit, and
All
I'll
right,
see you
thanks
soon.
for joining. Thank you for joining us, Dante. So right now we're continuing to watch as Myra Flores is closing in on that 50% fresh mark. That will be a huge mark. This will immediately shift. It will make it way more easier. It was always easy for Republicans coming into this year. It was always likely that they were going to flip the House after the 2020 elections, after they got 213, after originally looking at like 200, not even getting to the 290s. If Republicans even flip 18, they'll be back to their highest. They'll surpass where they were after the 1994 midterms. 25, I believe, is where they'll be after 2010, and 35 is where their highest majority in 90 years. So that is a lot of stake, and Democrats could. Newt Gingrich said they could lose up to 70 seats. That would be disastrous for this Democratic Party moving forward if they lose 70 seats. Also, like 50 of them could flip immediately, would probably flip back immediately. But yeah, this could be a bloodbath year for the Democratic Party, and it's starting to show here in Texas. It's starting to show here in Nevada. It's starting to show in Florida. It's definitely very, very, very worrying for Democrats. And it's all because Joe Biden. The fault is going to be put directly on the president's desk. No lie. That is going to be what happens. The president is going to be for blame for the loss. For the loss in these districts. All right, so we got one last look at Mace continues to fall. And it looks like Fry is closely approaching that 50% mark. Well, folks, I'm gonna end this stream. Honestly, I didn't even think about streaming until the last minute. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.